Greetings and happy salutations. I'm Sin Wicked, and this is a Cinfully Wicked critique. Let's talk about ghosts. Ghosts permeate pop culture in a variety of forms, from vengeful spirits who seek redress for the slights they suffered in life, to warnings from loved ones who have shrugged off the mortal coil. In popular culture, ghosts can be used to terrify or to comfort depending on the whims of the story. They represent both our fear of the unknown and our belief that something exists after death. Because on some level, we have to believe that there's something more. Sometimes that's all there is to hope for. Maudlin thoughts aside, we can find examples of ghosts used for a variety of reasons throughout Western pop culture, from the comedically terrifying to the touchingly romantic. Ghost stories aren't always scary, and today we're going to take a look at an 11-episode anime that tells one hell of a not scary ghost story. Today, dear viewers, we dive into Anohana. Oh, for crying out loud, could this title be any longer? What's the English title? Okay, today we dive into Anohana, the flower we saw that day. The story follows Jintan Yadomi, who's a socially phobic shut-in who has stopped going to school for the better part of a year as he suffers through not only the summer heat, but also the ghost of his deceased friend Meiko Menma Honma, a ghost only he can see and hear. After an encounter with Naruko Anaru Anjo in the first episode, it's obvious that this Jintan isn't the same boy that Menma remembers.
とにかく、もうあいつは友達なんかじゃねえんだから。やだよ。そうだよ。アナルの悪口言うジンタンなんて嫌いだよ。
And that difference is quickly compounded as we meet the rest of the former Super Peace Busters, Menma and Jintan's childhood gang of friends. They include Atsumo Yukiatsu Matsuyuki, a young man who, even in his childhood days, was in love with Menma, his classmates Chiriko Tsuruko Tsurumi, and the dropout globetrotting Tetsudo Poppo Hisakawa. Everyone's changed, except Menma, and her death has haunted and isolated all of them from who they were as children. Yukiatsu's childhood crush has festered with grief, jealousy, and guilt into a full-on obsession that sees him cross-dressing as Menma as a means of being closer to her. Popo alternates between trying to run away from his past by traveling the world and finding himself inexorably drawn back, living in the Super Peace Busters' old clubhouse and missing the old days. Tsuruko has become cold, only really staying friends with Yukiatsu because of her own childhood crush, and a desire to be near the boy she loves, even if he doesn't love her back. Anaru, who was always something of a copycat, has tried to become an entirely new person, but can't seem to shake caring about Jintan. But as we see in the series, it's Jintan who's changed the most. As a child, Jintan was a charismatic, energetic leader to the Super Peace Busters, a magnetic personality that the others were drawn to. That all changed one fateful day when a mean-spirited plan hatched by Anaru and Yukiatsu to make Jintan admit he liked Menma resulted in the young girl dying. No one in the group was at fault, but the death shook all of them to their cores, and began the process that would push them all away from each other and into their own private suffering. At its core, Anohana is a story about grief, growing up, change, and nostalgia. Many of the early episodes balance Jintan's quest to grant whatever wish brought Menma back from the dead with trying to reconnect with his friends and convince them he's not crazy, and Menma is real. Eventually, Menma makes herself known to her friends by writing a message to them in her diary, and from that point on, the Super Peace Busters are, reluctantly, brought back together to try and give their friend, and themselves, peace. Along the way, long-held secrets are revealed, and a rocket is constructed to fulfill the wish that Jintan and the others think will let Menma go to heaven. Of course, this is a dramatic anime, with a ghost-human romance subplot, so it can't actually be that simple. In reality, it is revealed that Menma has come back because of a promise she made to Jintan's mother to help Jintan cry. At the time, the promise was because Jintan's mother was dying, and he wasn't facing his emotions regarding that. But with Menma's death, it all compounded and resulted in his complete pulling away from the world. That's apparently enough to get you a personalized divine messenger, whose only purpose is to remind you that feelings are okay. You know, most people just scroll through Tumblr and see something that gives them all the feels. Everything comes to a head with the firing of the rocket and the revelation that Menma is still around. Long-standing guilt bubbles over as each of the Super Peace Busters believes their own selfish resentments and desires are keeping Menma from resting in peace. This leads to the series delivering one of the most beautifully cathartic scenes as everyone just unloads everything. All the dirty little secrets, all the sullen resentments, and, through all the tears, finds the connections they'd all abandoned for their own misery. Once more using childhood nicknames and, despite all the sadness, finding something to laugh about.
シータなんかもうどうでもいい。メンマにちゃんと謝って。そんで。
アナル。
何よ。
まつげ。2つある。
やだつけま。ちょっとユキハツ。
やっぱアナル目元変わったって思ったのよね。
つる子、あんた
そんなもさもさ毛増やさなくてもいいんじゃね？アナルが。アナルはそのまんまでいいよ。
そういえば
みんなあだ名に戻ってんな。
ほんと。
So, that's everything. Menma's promise is fulfilled with Jintan's tears, and her personal wish that all her friends be together has been granted. All that's left is for Menma to fade away, and everyone else to move on with their lives, together.
君と夏の終わり、将来の夢、大きな希望を忘れない。10年後の8月まで出るの信じて。最高の思い出を。した瞬間帰り道あんた今度はちゃんとお別れできたよ。もう
なんだよこれ。なんだよメンマ。かくれんぼなんだろ。だったらお前見つけなきゃ終われねえだろ。
ちんと
もういいかい。もういいかい。もういいかい。
I can't. I can't explain why this series is so powerful to me. I really can't. I've tried to find the words to explain why an examination of grief and loss can affect me so profoundly when a series like Wandering Sun, which strikes far closer to home, doesn't destroy my composure like this. Everyone changes in Anohana because we have to change. Life means changing because every moment is an experience you didn't have before. Even if it's something you've done 100 times before, that was the 101st time, and death is scary, you know? I don't even mean that in the I'm afraid I'm going to die kind of way. Death is the one thing that we can't know anything about. I can't know if I should fear the Reaper because no matter what we do, I can't know what comes after death. I mean, I don't worry about the fact that I'm going to die because I can't avoid that. I know that every breath I take is one more that I've taken and one less that I'll ever take. But it's still scary. I don't want to think that someday everything I am will just stop. Will just be gone. But ultimately, that's a truth I have to face. And, well, Menma. Menma is frozen in the series. I said that everyone's changed, but that isn't true. Menma is shown to be the same character in both the past and the present. What does that say for there being some kind of existence after death? She's a ghost, but she's static. She's aged physically, but she's the same person. It doesn't give me hope. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't even comfort me. It makes me cry. We look to ghost stories to give us a sense that our loved ones still exist somewhere, in some form. We hope for messages from the other side of death because it gives us a chance to say goodbye properly, to say everything we wish we could have said when a person was still here. And the final moments of Anohana capture that longing and give it fulfillment. It's incredible catharsis. I guess that's why this series touched me so deeply. It gave me an outlet for feelings I never even knew could be expressed. In these final moments, I am Jintan and Anaru, given one last chance to say everything that matters. Whew, that got heavy. So let's finish this up before I get all maudlin again. While the early episodes of Anohana feature a lot of comedic moments, largely carried by Poco, you can feel the poisoned grief simmering beneath the characters' interactions in the form of hurtful words, avoidance of childhood nicknames, and in the hardness in the characters' eyes. The animation for the series was headed by A1 Pictures, who are also responsible for Sound of the Sky and Sword Art Online. Honestly, gorgeous animation like this is nothing less than I would expect from them. As for the voice acting, ordinarily, voice acting is just part of the whole for me. I don't really notice it except as a vehicle for the story. But in Anohana, I believe every single one of these actors. Their pain, their hope, and their sadness all feel real, and I can't think of a higher accolade to give them that. A voice you might recognize is Jintan's voice actor, Miyu Irono, who is also the voice of Sora in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, as well as the voice of Haku in Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. Really though, all of the Super Peace Busters are voiced by incredible talents who have done a ton of roles. At the time of this review, Anohana is available for streaming on Crunchyroll to subscribers and has been released in a stunning DVD box set by NIS America. So that's it for this Cinfully Wicked critique. If anything I've said here has piqued your interest, I strongly encourage you to go out and watch Anohana. And next time, I promise I'll try and have something funny. Until then, this is Sin saying, think critically. 君と夏の終わり